If you're waiting to build a portfolio until you feel ready, you're probably delaying your career more than you realize. Your portfolio does not need to be perfect. It just needs to show that you can solve a problem and do the thing you say you can do.
My name is Nolan Matthews. I'm a photographer, director, and pilot based in Utah. After nearly a decade in the corporate world, I walked away to build a life around travel, adventure, and storytelling. This channel is all about the work, the process, and the stories behind it all.
In the last episode, we talked about identifying a clear problem to solve. Today, I want to talk about how you prove you can actually solve it without overthinking, overspending, or waiting weeks, months, maybe even years to start. Most people think a portfolio exists to impress people. That's not true. A portfolio exists to answer 3 simple questions. Can I trust you? Have you done anything like this before? And do you understand what I'm trying to accomplish? Early on, no one is expecting mastery. They're looking for a signal, not perfection. In fact, I would even argue that once you get to the big leagues, this concept remains. People don't need perfect. They just need a sure thing. When I was starting out, I didn't have a polished website or a massive body of work. What I had was evidence that I could show up, think creatively, and deliver something useful. That was enough to just get conversations started. Here's the part that trips most people up. Your portfolio does not need famous brands, massive campaigns, or award-winning work. What it does need is context. Every piece in your portfolio should answer, what was the problem, what did you create, and why did that matter? Some of my earliest work came from shooting for our family's construction business. At the time, I didn't think of it as portfolio worthy, but looking back, it absolutely was. It showed real-world experience using cameras and drones for that matter. It showed real constraints, and it showed real outcomes of what the work did. Personal projects count, spec work counts, work done for free absolutely counts, but doing nothing certainly doesn't. If you don't have a portfolio yet, don't worry. You don't need all the gear, the flashy talent, or the latest and greatest brand to shoot for. You just need an idea and execution. Let me put this in the context of being a photographer like myself. Go rent a camera, find a friend, and shoot your favorite pair of shoes or some piece of gear that you actually use in your everyday life as if you were delivering a huge campaign for said brand. Bonus if you can turn that shoot into something fresh that hasn't been done before. But at a minimum, gain inspiration from the images you see out there in the world and try to replicate them. I used to shoot fake campaigns all the time. I grabbed my cheap camera, enlisted my wife to model for me, and away I went. I then was able to take those early spec images and share them with like-minded brands or maybe even the actual brands themselves. And guess what? I even had a few come back and say they wanted the images. It was the early formation of my own portfolio, and it's what got me started. And looking back, it was super easy to do. Here's a bonus as well. You actually get to start developing your own unique style. Spec work is where most people think they're stuck, but in reality, it's actually where you have the most freedom to create. If you're starting from zero, here's the goal. Create one project that solves one clear problem. That's it. You don't need 10 projects. You don't need a perfect website. Momentum matters more than polish. My career didn't start with a grand plan. It started with a small group of projects that stacked up over time. A portfolio isn't a finish line. It's proof that you're moving. Once you have something to show, the next step is getting it in front of the right people. And that's what we're going to be talking about next. Building a list and a network that actually works and will actually want to see the work that you're creating.